My name is Sherry.
I'm Jerry.
I'm Santa. He's the snowman of the...
Snowman.
Yeah.
Well,
Frosty.
Why can't I be an elf?
Well, I've never seen an elf.
Oh, well. I'm a what? I'm a snowman.
You're a snowman. You're
Okay.
Frosty.
Okay.
And we have our elf, Veronica, will be the elf.
Yes.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
She is the director of the program here. And I hope everybody's ready for the holidays. Okay. First on the list
Is me or you?
Be
I don't have
me.
a copy of that.
Would be me.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like to say we welcome and love to hear any questions you guys have for us. And today's show is going to be about heaters and drinkers. And let me see what else we can. I'll just get it all out of the way.
While you're looking at that, I'll show them this. How's that?
Oh yeah. If anybody knows, we have a book, and if you look at the print on that book, if you can see it, if anybody could tell us what language or it is in, we'd appreciate it. The whole book is in that language.
It's a beautiful book, and the author was Faris Altamimi, Alutimi. He gave me the book, and I've got it. Some beautiful pictures in it, and I'd like to give it to somebody who raises the breeds, and these are, I'm quite sure, are high-flying breeds. So if you can read it, let me know what nationality it is.
Okay, and I'd also like to let everybody know about the results of the auction. We have the Racing Homers. They were from Heber Nelson. Thank you, Heber.
Let me mention Heber, a little bit about Heber, if you would.
Mm-hmm, that's fine.
Okay. Whoops, you hit something. Go ahead, just kick it apart.
She told me this.
Live TV. Anyway, Heber's a good friend of mine. He's been very active in pigeons pretty much all his life, and an officer in some of his clubs. But he is, in my opinion, the best pigeon flyer in Pennsylvania and Ohio. If he's not the best, he's certainly the best in our combine. But when his birds are sent out, he does well in one-loft races too. So the pair that the gentleman bought, and he's a real supporter of ours, right there, isn't he?
No. It's Bob Dalvet.
Yeah, and Bob bought birds from us before, so tells me he must be pleased with what he's got. Thank you very much, Bob.
And those actually went for $450.
Wow. But he'll get his money worth. I talked to Heber last week. I think he was into our store, and he was talking about the birds and telling me a little bit about them. But and if you want to call him, you can call Foy's and ask me, and I'll give you Heber's home phone. But you're getting some darn good pigeons, and he says he's got some more for me in a little while.
Okay.
Only I could talk for 2 minutes on a subject. It usually takes 10 seconds.
That would be me.
Okay. No.
Okay, and the rollers. I don't know, what is that? What kind of rollers are they?
It's kind of hard to pronounce. Rakeynd.
Oh,
They're a breed from overseas. A lot of people have never heard of them, and I never heard of them until they were contributed to us. But they're a very rare breed. They are a rolling bird, a flying bird, but they're also seen in the show cage. They've been exhibited twice, and they were contributed by.
Oh. Grummus. Is that who it's from?
No, they were from Tim Heinrich.
No.
I wrote it wrong. No, that's high flyers. We're talking about.
Oh, rollers. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You should be sorry, and you should grovel a little bit.
I did apologize. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, go ahead.
And those went to Lee, is that Ferrari?
Yep.
And they went for $150.
And those came from Tim, who is the Secretary Treasurer
Sorry, Tim.
of the National Pigeon Association, and he's contributing birds to us all the time because, as I've explained to you, all the money we raise, Foy's doesn't take a penny. In fact, if anything, we lose a little bit of money on it, but it's for the good of the pigeon hobby. So Tim, being the Secretary Treasurer, has helped us out tremendously, as other people on a regular basis.
Okay, and the third ones are the, what are they?
Serbian
High Flyers.
Yep.
And those ones were from Grommet. Is that Grommet? Is that what
Yes, the Serbian High Flyers came from, yes, Grommet, Martisi.
Thanks, Grommet. And these went to, is it Nuno Milo?
And here's another one.
Yeah,
in
that
fact,
gets a lot of birds.
I think other than the rollers, both of the other two contributors, or I consider contributors, the people who bought the birds. They've bought birds on numerous occasions.
And those actually went for $250.
And they'll go out on Monday. I normally ship on Tuesday, but we have the Christmas week, which means Friday we're off. Did they tell you get Friday off?
No.
I let it slip out of the barn at all. But anyway, I'll ship them on Monday to make sure you folks have them.
And that means this Monday coming or the Monday after?
This coming Monday, because even if I waited the following week, it's New Year's Eve and Friday will close also.
Yes.
I'll ship them on Monday, and no reason why you won't get them either Tuesday or Wednesday.
Ho, ho, ho!
Ho, ho, ho! What are you doing?
We are going to have a giveaway. Or is that you? Was supposed to do that.
I was reading a question from my good friend Vicky. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, we are actually giving away one mug, a large logo mask, and the third thing is we have breeding record cards, breeding record book, and a pack of pink and blue snap-ons. Now you can finish it.
Okay, what you have to do, they're completely free. We'll pay the postage. Just a little gift. It's not a lot. But all you have to do is call Foy's, ask for Kim, and Kim will let us know when you call and that you're the person who gets it. No charge at all. So the first item, if you call, we're not going to do them all three at the same time. First item is a mug. Call Foy's at 724-843-6889. And Kim will get your information, and we'll get it right out to you on Monday. Possibly today, but probably Monday.
Okay, well, we have a question from Vicky. Merry Christmas, Foys. Jerry, I heard of, what is that? Belgian fanciers say from this time of year through March when his birds are at rest, they feed only barley in order to detox their racers. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, yes, I've done it, and I understand what they're suggesting. The only thing that I would question, and I don't think he feeds I'm looking at the question. I don't think he feeds barley exclusively through the winter. It is a detoxifier. And people who race pigeons, usually when birds come home from a race for the next 1 or 2 days, they do give them only barley. But I don't think there's enough nutrition in just straight barley. So you may want to do it like once a week or something like that, or once or twice a week, won't hurt them at all. You will find they don't like it. They don't. So when you give them barley, the first time they may not eat it. So what you want to do is follow what we've always suggested is you want either don't feed them the day before you're going to give them barley, so that they have no choice and they will eat it. But if they have a choice between barley and almost any other grain, they'll choose everything but the barley. So it is called pearled barley. And what that means is the barley has the outer husk removed, so it's called pearled barley. So, yeah, I see no reason why you shouldn't do it. It does detoxify the system. Vicky, Merry Christmas to you. Thank you. And your husband, I'm trying to remember. Your husband's name is Vicky. Is it Lou? Let us know.
Okay, well, I have a question.
We never did tell them how to send the questions in, did we? We told them it was a good idea. We don't want them calling us with a question. So how do they do that? Get on Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
All
Like,
the
is this a
questions
trick
have to
question?
come through Facebook. Yep.
That is correct. And I have a question here.
Is
Says,
it really your question?
well, no, it's not really
Well,
my
then
question.
make yourself clear, please.
Okay, this was from Mike Carter. And he said, I have a Homer pair getting ready to turn 4 years old. 5 tries this year, they laid infertile eggs. Previous years, they've been successful. They do everything correct, to my knowledge. Make a nice nest, share setting duties, but don't have good eggs. They are healthy, normal droppings, and are fed a variety of grains, including popcorn and a few peanuts. Other pairs in the lofts, their age, don't have egg problems. What is the possible problem based on your experience?
Tough one. At first I was going to suggest it was a fertility issue, but really it's not a fertility issue because if they're not laying any eggs, that's not fertility. It's something wrong. 4 years old is sort of like a mature bird, not an old bird. Average life on a pigeon is about 8 years old. So what I would, pardon?
They're in their prime time. Huh?
Yes, so right prime, sort of like a person in their 40s.
Yeah. Thanks, that's me.
Will you stop interrupting me? I would never do that to you.
Okay. Did you catch on to that?
Yeah, you're getting back at me. So, what I would suggest you try is, you can do it this time of the year, separate the hen and the cock. If at all possible, put them in a place that they can't hear or see each other. And put the hen in one cage and maybe in another room or another loft, put the cock in another cage. Give it about 5 days, and then introduce to the cock, introduce a brand new hen. Into the hen, introduce a brand new cock. They will mate, and when you put them back into your regular loft, put one pair, not both pair together, because they'll want to go right back to mate again. So what I'm trying to do is tell you how to figure out which one is infertile. It could be the male, it could be the female. So by breaking up the pair and mating to new mates, I use the word infertile, not laying eggs, you'll find out what the problem is. Either the hen with a new cock or the cock with a new hen will tell you which one is effective. And if I had to guess, it's the hen.
Okay, well, we have a question from Ralph, and I've never heard that.
Pardon?
I've never heard of that. What are the symptoms for coccoid?
Yeah, what he's
For
asking
pigeons
about
is
coccidiosis.
Oh, okay. That's what
A lot of people pronounce coccidiosis, and I might be wrong, but it's coccidiosis. And you know what the symptoms are.
How I do. Oh, yeah. You put me on a spot, so I just went blank. It's lime green droppings.
And loose, in most cases.
How
And
about blood in this?
pardon?
Is there blood in it?
Yep, you're right.
See? You got
Sometimes
me.
you'll see blood in the stool. Coccidiosis medication is called Alvon. Isn't that what it is?
Oh, we don't sell that
No,
anymore.
what's the other one that we have? Oh, we have from Dr. Bosa.
Aviocox.
Aviocox.
That has trimethoprim sulfa in it.
Okay. So what you want to do is treat them with that. The symptoms are usually light droppings. A lot of people use antibiotics on coccidiosis. And coccidiosis is not a disease. In other words, it's not like a cold or It's just not a disease or a headache or paratyphoid. Those are all bacterial
Isn't it a
infections.
parasite?
Yes, it is.
Oh, jeez, I'm impressing myself.
You know what? I'm going to buy me a bunch of gold stars and just put them
That's right.
So it's what's called a protozoa. Canker, Coccidiosis, and worms are all protozoa. From one under a microscope, it looks like a bug. So if you use an antibiotic similar to Tylenol, amoxicillin, all the different antibiotics we sell will not work. The drug you want is, you might find it. Do we have amprolium? No more?
What's amprolium?
Amprolium is for coccidiosis.
Yeah.
Here's what I suggest. We do have a product,
Avian pox.
but
And then
try
we have
Tractor
Coccidiosis.
Supply or Rural King. Ask them if they have amprolium. If they have it, that's probably the best product you can buy. Ours is good, but amprolium is time tested.
Well, then
It
why
works.
don't we have
Pardon?
that? Why don't we have that?
Well, my thoughts are some of the Rural Kings and Tractor Supplies, because it doesn't have an expiration date, might have had thousands of them in stock because they're nationwide. And now the manufacturers have discontinued it. They still have it. That's my thought.
Okay.
But it's
Gotcha.
a good question. Probably other people. Ralph, that's my father's name. I've shared that with you folks before. So, Ralph, thanks you very much for calling. And I have to remember this. Hi, Charlene. My sister, most of you know, lives in Maine, and she enjoys my show. She's not a pigeon person, although as youngsters we had pigeons at our house all the time. But she says that she laughs out loud at home watching our show. Is that a compliment, or as they say, man, how can you act so silly? Okay, Ralph, thank you. All right.
Okay, I have another question.
Well, let's do
And
this. If I may interrupt you, why don't you ask another question?
Okay, thanks for interrupting me. Ho, ho, ho! Okay, this is, I don't know if you've ever come across, which I bet you have, where the parents will not feed their youngsters. Well, we have a home remedy that will help you feed those babies when the parents quit feeding them.
Why don't we give them a minute or so to find a pencil and a paper, because they should write this down, because if you get into a situation where maybe one of the parents dies, or if you fly your birds, one of the parents don't come back, the single parent in most cases will care for the bird for a few days, but generally will leave it. I think they have their pen and paper by now.
I hope so.
Okay.
All right, and it says try this for the first 7 days after the birth. Okay, it says mix an egg yolk, warm water. How much warm water?
As much as they need, a small
To put
amount.
for
But
like the thickness.
But you're going to have to make it every day, so it's
Okay.
one egg yolk a day that you're going to mix up, and what you don't use, throw away.
Okay, so mix an egg yolk, warm water, and just enough cream of wheat to thicken it. Mix it well and use your syringe to feed the babies. It says feed at least twice a day. 3 is better, it says. And do not overfeed.
Yep. The reason don't overfeed is a lot of people have a tendency to overfeed, and the crop gets well swollen from too much food. You're asking for infection, so you don't want to do that. And it's better, 3 times is better, but at least twice a day. Because if it was the real parents, they would not just feed them in the morning and not feed them again, just like a baby. If you have a baby, you don't feed it once a day. You've got to feed it numerous times.
Okay, and then it says the next step is to feed small seeds for 3 to 4 days. Then just feed regular feed. Excuse me, I have to sneeze.
Okay, but the reason I'm telling you to feed them small seeds is if your feed has corn and peas in it, just because you're only going to use a little bit, take the peas and corn out of that. A baby's digestive system cannot handle corn and peas, so you're making a mistake there. So if you're going to mix small grains, we're talking about millet, milo,
Safflower? Is there safflower?
safflower. I wouldn't do it. There's little brown and beige seeds in it. So millet is one of them. I already said, but anything that's really small, that's what you want to do. Well, safflower probably would not hurt.
Yeah, and it also says to wait a minute, where am I? Oh, make it wet.
Why didn't I think of that?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want to feed dry seed. Now, understand, the first 7 days from the day the bird's born, you're going to make that pigeon milk substitute, and then after that, you're going to introduce them to smaller grains, let's say another 7 days. At 14 days, they can eat just about anything, and they're close to being weaned at 21 days. So right in that time frame. And you'll find if you feed them by hand, you're their parents for life. They just love you. And when you walk in the loft, first person who's going to come greet you is the bird that you raised by hand.
Oh. Okay, and I'm just going to repeat one more time. You're going to take 1 egg yolk, warm water, and just enough cream of wheat to thicken it a bit. Okay.
I think it might be time for us to talk about the products we wanted to talk about. And if you weren't such a long-winded person, we'd have got to it a long time ago.
You think?
No.
Well, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. We have a question from Alex.
Okay.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Alex. What is your advice or the easiest way to pair a male and a female pigeon?
Okay, good question, because this is the time of the year when people are working out what they're going to make to what, and I know the racing homers people are certainly doing it, and people who show birds are doing it now. The easiest way is to keep the males and females separated during right after breeding season. Break them up, put hens in one section, cocks in another section. Now, not everybody can do that, and I understand that. So if you have, let's say you have a hen and a cock that you want to mate. So I talked similar situation earlier in the show. You separate the hen and the cock, put them in separate cages, if at all possible. If not possible, put them together, but not where they can see the rest of the birds. And in most cases, if you know they're a hen and a cock, they will mate in a fairly short period of time. On rare occasions, you're going to have a hen and a cock, for whatever reason, just don't like each other. The hen or the male just doesn't like the hen, or the other way around. And if you have that situation, break them up and try a different male or a different female. That's the easiest way. Because what is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. So you separate them. The male doesn't have a female, and the female doesn't have a male, and you know what happens.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about, the theme of our show is heaters and drinkers. So we're going to do that by combining the two and talking about them. And I noticed just before we took the last question, what's your name again? Sherry put her hand on it. Can they see this?
Santa.
Well, let's do it this way. This is one of the heaters we sell. We sell 2 or 3 versions. This is the most popular. Now, this has been plugged in since before the show started, because we get a lot of questions. Can you use a plastic drinker on it? So what I did before the show is we have 2 different sizes, but this is a medium size. I put that right on there, and I left it on there for over an hour. And it did its job. This is very warm. I hesitate to say hot, but it won't allow the water to freeze. So it does work on a plastic drinker. Get the large one, would you please? It also works on metal drinkers too. So this is the biggest one. Where did I put that? Is there a drinker on the floor that you kicked? No. Oh, a metal one.
I don't
there it is. There it is.
Oh,
Now this is a drinker, and this is similar to what I use. Let's just put that.
I don't know if they could
Okay.
see it.
Can they see that, Veronica? Okay. So you put this fits right on this large heater. So you can use metal, or you can use, no, I'm sorry. You can use metal. It'll work. Not a problem. The water will not get so hot that they can't drink it. But people ask me about these. This is the plastic drinker that we use, and we don't have it fully together. But I recommend you don't use this, the green one. The reason for that is the green plastic is so thick, the heat will not get through the plastic. Not that it'll melt it, but it won't get through. Give you a little tip. As most of you know, our company is in, where are we? Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, where it's very, very cold. In fact, over the next couple of days, we'll barely be above freezing. But when it's really cold, when it gets down to 0 and so forth, this is what I use year round, whether it's hot or cold or so cold. What I do, I don't have another one with me, but every morning I go out with you've heard me talk about this, a very clean bowl. And I don't put it, I don't use heaters at all, but I put this on and I put the cage on it, and then it's full, holds a gallon of water. Tomorrow morning, the bowl that was used today, am I confusing people? Anyways, I put a new clean bowl out every day. So the dirty bowl from this evening, when I go out in the morning, the dirty bowl, I put a brand new bowl, take the dirty bowl that's frozen solid, I smack it against a concrete block, the ice pops out, I take the dirty one into the house, wash it, and I'm ready for tomorrow.
And he normally writes, you number them on the bottom.
Yep.
So that he knows that this is, say, number 1, and then he'll have the other number 1, so he's not mixing, even though they're clean, but he has them all numbered, which...
And the reason I do that is, and we've all had sick pigeons before, sometimes if you got 3 or 4, I had as many as 11, 13 different sections. I don't want to use this drinker anywhere but in cage in section 1, section 2, all the way up to 11, so that if by chance section 1 has some sort of disease, I do wash them before I bring them out, but who knows? So I don't want to use number 1 and number in a different section. So as Sherry pointed out, the best thing you can do is use the same drinker in the same section as much as possible.
And can we also have a little tip here for the metal pans? If you use this as a drinker, if I'm correct, you should never medicate in a metal pan. It doesn't...
The word never is a little strong.
Wow.
But if you continue to use this, her point is well taken, and I never even thought of it. The antibiotics will eat away at the metal, the zinc in the metal, and it will won't make the bird sick, but it'll cause them to rust at the seams. So if you're using medications, it's always best to not use antibiotics unless you have to, and if you do, when you before you change the water, clean the can or the pan as much as you can, and maybe, heck, everybody's got it now in a home, a disinfectant, so keep your hands clean. Just spray it, so if there's any germs, it'll dissipate the antibiotics.
Okay, can I suggest something else?
Sure.
How about Oxine?
Oxine.
Can you use Oxine?
Oxine is a product of chlorine.
The only reason why I suggested
you could
this,
do this damn show by yourself. I'm going to move over here and let you do it.
The only reason why I'm suggesting Oxine, for the longest time we had it in stock, and for I don't even know what reason though, but anyway, we couldn't get it. Well, we can now get it. And it was very popular, so I didn't know if our Facebook friends know that we have it back in stock. So I figured I'd just suggest that.
Excellent. We don't have any questions. I'm starting to worry. Maybe because I keep picking on you. They're angry at me, and I turn Facebook off. No questions at all. There's questions of what makes the show.
I know.
Well, maybe we mentioned we're going to show them drinkers and stuff.
Oh, don't forget about our mug.
Well, you didn't go ho 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 again.
Oh, ho ho! Don't forget about our mug.
The second, yeah. Well, that's right. She hasn't told.
Yeah.
Nobody's called. If you want a free mug, and we'll mail it to you. That
That's
says
right.
Just call 724-843-6889. Ask for Kim. Thank you.
That's right.
Okay. Now, in talking about heaters, we have heaters in three different sizes. We have a small,
That's a
a
7,
medium,
a 9,
and
an
a
11.
12. Okay, an 11. And the way they all work, because not everybody has the same size drinker. This is the small one. When you plug it in, there's a light that will light up to tell you it's working. And it's made for something like this. The good thing about these heaters that they don't get hot, they get very warm. Your birds can actually stand on them. This one's still plugged in since we started the show.
Oh, before.
And it's not hot, it's very warm. So this is one side. If you happen to put this on here, the bird would jump up here and drink. It's not going to hurt them at all. I'm just thinking the advantage of these kind of heaters also is it picks it up off the floor about that much, and that much less dirt is going to be blown into it.
There you go.
Okay, we also sell the biggest one. This goes on here.
It also can put on there, but then
it goes on this one. And the biggest one is for
ho mug.
no. Anyways, that was Kim asking which one we were giving away. Okay, move that. Oh, that probably covered. Okay, so anyways, those are the three heaters that I wanted to talk about first. They come from Poland, and to my knowledge, we are only distributor in the United States that sells this, because the company we deal with for years, we built up a good relationship. They were selling these in Europe, but the plug in Europe doesn't work with the plug in America. So we guaranteed to purchase a certain amount of them if they would put the U.S. plug on them, and they did for us. So there's nothing better than this heater, as you can see. Still not too hot. Now, I wanted to talk about a very special type of heater. Can you throw that over there too, please? Now, this isn't for everybody, because you may not have this style of drinker. But over the years, this particular drinker has been available in different sizes. You see it has a hole under here. And what that hole is for, because these are made in Europe, it's made to fit right over there. So you have a drinker, and the heat goes into the water even more. So, I wanted to mention this. What do we call this one? Do you remember? I can't even remember.
Bullet.
Oh,
bullet
yeah,
heater.
that's a bullet drinker. Okay. Go ahead.
All right, we have a question.
No.
Oh, no. Hey, congratulations, Norm. He won the mug. Yay.
And it'll go out today or Monday.
That's correct.
Now, what's the next item we're going to be giving?
Ho, ho, ho. It's the large logo mask.
Got Foy's name on it.
Yeah.
It's got our logo, and
Our
it certainly
logo.
is a top quality mask. And doesn't it have a pocket in the back?
It does. It has a little filter.
Yep.
Thank you.
And the filter is replaceable. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So all you have to
To
do
is call in.
What's our number again?
Ho, ho, ho.
724-843-6889.
843-6889.
You call and we'll send it out to you. I don't think the mail has come yet, but it'll go out Monday or Saturday or Monday.
Okay.
Oh, I'm taking a deep breath.
We have
plenty of time.
I don't know. You didn't talk about
See, one of the things about our show that you don't find on television or radio, we don't do commercials.
That's right.
So, we've been talking a lot, and you've been bugging me, and I'm going to sit back and relax just a little bit, catch my breath. So why don't you read that question?
Okay, I have another question, and I don't know who this was from.
That's the question right there.
Oh, not this?
That's the answer, I think. That's the question. Yeah.
All right. Good thing you said that, or else I would have been.
I can understand it, but the fact that I wrote Question with an arrow down might have given you a little bit of a hint.
I know. I was looking to see who it was from. But, okay. It says, I need help on getting my pigeons to gain weight and keep their weight up. I have 6 pigeons, one of which is a fledgling,
Yeah, baby.
which its parents have completely stopped feeding and it's struggling to keep weight on it. I have tried giving it pellets, but it's extremely picky and won't take to it. I was just wondering if there's any specific feed I could possibly give to it or medication that could help it to gain weight.
Did it say something about having a good day or something for us?
Thank you for your time and have a good day. Jeez.
Rather than you read the answer, let me just wing it, because I wrote the answer anyway.
Go ahead. I'm reading it.
There's no magic bullet at all for making pigeons gain weight. There are things, and I'm going to share them with you. But the first symptom of a bird losing weight is that it's sick. So you have to be aware of that. You may want to get that young one and segregate it and put it in a cage or a box or something with a solid wood or plastic or glass bottom, so that you can check the color of the droppings and the consistency. In other words, are they real greenish or dark brown or dark, even black, and are they very loose and runny? But don't do it the first day. It may be that way no matter what, even if it's healthy, because it's under a little bit of a stress. So leave it in a cage like that for 2 or 3 days. Check those droppings. If they're green and loose, you probably have a bacterial infection or something else. So that being said, how do you put weight on a pigeon? If you go to our catalogs or our website, there is a page that talks about weight loss and weight gain. What I would suggest you do, go to your local pet store and buy a small amount of peanuts, regular peanuts. But you don't want them roasted, you don't want them salted, just plain peanuts. And crush them up with a rolling pin or something hard, just break them up into small pieces and feed it to the bird or give it to the bird. Now this one bird you're talking about, if it's real sick, it won't eat anything, and it's certainly not going to gain weight until you do something about what its issue may be. At first, when you feed peanuts, raw peanuts, the birds don't like them. So my suggestion, and you hear me say this so often, what would you do first?
But if they don't eat,
You
don't feed them.
Right. Well, I'm impressed.
You don't feed them.
Like today, tomorrow morning, don't feed them at all. Then the next day, introduce the peanuts. If you do it the other way, if you add peanuts to your current feed, they're not going to eat the peanuts. It's different. And at first, when they see them, they don't know what they are, or they don't think they're going to like them. But if you force them to eat them, and I've done this, if you put the peanuts in front of them and nothing else, they are going to grow very, very quickly. They're going to put on weight, and you'll find that after a number of days, and you put the peanuts in with your grain, your regular feed, they're going to eat the peanuts before they eat anything else. Once they get past their new, they really do like them. I got an order from a company one time for a number of birds, and I really don't know what they did with them, but they said the birds have to weigh at least a pound. The average pigeon weighs 14 ounces, 16 ounces is what he wanted. So what I did was I took all their feed away, and I fed them only peanuts for about a week or so, maybe 10 days, I can't remember. And they were butterballs. They were so fat, but that's what he wanted. And when I sent them to him, he was real pleased.
Okay, we have a question from Scott. It says, hello, when vaccinate birds for PMV, does it have to be done yearly or once in a lifetime?
Well, number one, it is never. There's no vaccine that lasts more than a year. It's not a lifetime. When I'm talking pigeons, not people. I think smallpox vaccine lasts a lifetime. The kids get it when we're young, don't they? But on a pigeon, there are only two vaccines available that are injectable. One's PMV and one's paratyphoid. And which is which? One is a year and one's 6 months.
Well, that I'm not sure of.
Okay.
Well, I thought they are, if they've never been vaccinated,
You get it twice.
they get it twice.
But one of the vaccines is a 6-month vaccine.
Oh, okay.
And
No,
one is so when you call an order, or if you want to call and ask, one is every year. The other one is every 6 months. But what Shirley was alluding to was if they've never been vaccinated before, you vaccinate them, and approximately 10 to 14 days later, you vaccinate them again. One's called a booster. The reason for that is the first time you vaccinate, a bird's natural immune system tries to fight off this foreign body, this vaccine. So the second one, the body recognizes it and will accept it into their system, and that's the effective one. Now, after that, and that's why you have to keep records, after you've vaccinated and then vaccinated a second time, all of those birds, you only vaccinate either once a year or once every 6 months based on which one you bought. Did I explain that fairly well?
yes, you did.
I sure hope so. I get so many calls from people that tell me their birds are dying or their birds, the eggs are hatching, but then the bird dies in the shell or it hatches and it dies after a few days or even after 3 weeks. All of a sudden it dies. And the first thing I always ask them, because that's almost always, not all, almost always paratyphoid, and I say to them, did you vaccinate? The majority saying no. Well, and if you have paratyphoid and you don't vaccinate, even if you medicate it and goes away, 6 months from now it'll get it again or in some time frame like that. So my suggestion is, I hope I'm not rambling too much, is if you have the time and the money, vaccinate your birds and certainly do it before breeding season. If you don't and get sick, it could ruin your whole breeding season. The other disease or virus that we talk about is Pmv, Perimoxy Virus. And that one is the same thing, only the symptoms are different. With the Pmv vaccine, you'll get much more in the way of deaths. A lot of times, the paratyphoid, sometimes called salmonella, a lot of times they'll get over it by themselves, but it will come back. So, did I answer Scott's question?
Yes, and I'd like to say each of those vaccines run $139 and they're 100 dose.
And we have to ship them via
Next day air, and we put them on ice and a nice little bag to keep them even extra cold.
like an aluminum color.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, but if you figure you're going to do 100 birds, it costs you $13. It costs you $1.39 per bird, depending on if you were to do it for the 6 month vaccine. 2 times $1.39 is usually $328, something like that. Not 300.
No.
$1.39 times 2 is $2.78. All right.
Okay, this question is from Rick. Jerry, how old does pigeons live, and how old would you say was the oldest bird you ever had?
Now I'm not being a smart, you know what, Rick, but how long does the average human live?
Well, I know it keeps getting longer and longer.
Yes, it does. But the answer to your question, and I don't think it's changed in pigeons, but it probably has, because just like humans, medications and treatments are available now that weren't available 20 to 30 or 40 years ago. And also some of the diseases we have now, we didn't have 20 or 30 years ago. But in answer to your question, it used to be, and I don't know what it is now, the average age of a pigeon is 8 years old. That takes into account some dying young and some dying old. The oldest pigeon I've ever kept for myself was, I'm pretty sure, 16 years old. But if you looked it up, or if you went, in Oklahoma City, there's a great museum, and the museum itself is dedicated to nothing but pigeons. And there's so much information. But the reason I mentioned that is a good friend of mine, Fred Tolke from North Dakota, hand delivered a bird that served in the World War II, if I'm not mistaken. And one of the birds that served during the war reached the age of almost 25 years old. That's a very, very rare exception, but reading the paper or on the TV or whatever, every once in a while it'll pop up. And right now, I saw one recently. Lady was 117 years old and still going, but the average age was 8. See how I can take a simple answer, yes or no, and make it into a long discussion.
That's good.
Well, I just learned, since you've been doing the show, I've learned that I better get my words in quickly, because you answer all the damn questions.
I do. Ho again. We have a face mask to give away. 724-843-6889.
First one that calls, all you do is call the number. Kim will answer it, and she'll send it to you post haste. You know what that means?
No.
It means quickly. Post haste.
Oh, okay.
What was the word we were talking about the other day? I forget. Oh, I know this. Today I asked what's the difference between a producer and a director. I try to come up with questions that will stump people. Well, let's ask the audience. What's the difference between a producer and a director? See if anybody knows. You knew. Give you credit. Now, I must say the director of our show did not know.
I wonder who that is.
If you got a question, thank you, Rick. If you got a question, please get them into us. We've got about 15 more minutes, and as we say all the time, the show itself is so much better when you ask questions. Let's talk about something else I wanted to mention. Because it is winter, maybe you don't want to breed from all of your birds, but maybe there's a pair or two that you very much would like to raise some young ones, but it's winter time. This is a heated nest bowl. Plug it in. We'll get it from the same company. They make it for very heavy. As you can see, it's not like a paper nest bowl, but it's heavy and won't move. The birds, what I suggest is maybe put a little beach sand or in the bottom. And when I say beach sand, it has to say beach sand made for children because there's no chemicals in it. But this here, all you do is plug it in. You have to maybe run an extension cord, put some straw in here. The eggs will stay warm. They won't cook. They'll stay warm just like our heaters. So if you've never thought of it, once again, we're the only people in the United States, possibly, in the United States, that has this type of a heater. Got a special pair, want to keep them warm, you might want one or two of these around. Can I talk about another thing, or do you have something anything on your list?
No, I did all mine.
Okay. I'm going to stay on the theme. This is a heater. It's made for poultry, chicken, but it'll heat anything. If you put a metal pan on here, it'll heat. And once again, it doesn't get boiling hot, so the birds jumping on it, it's not going to affect them at all.
Was
so
that a thermostatic heater? What's that mean?
Go ahead, tell them about it.
I'm just saying, does it set?
I thought you knew.
No, I just wondered what thermostatic heater is.
Well, thermostatic means it's got a furnace.
Thermostat. So can you set it?
Yes, I know. Go ahead. I wanted to read it. It says it's prevents it from freezing, thermostatically controlled to operate only when necessary. What it means, thank you very much, is that it goes on and off based on the temperatures. Won't get too hot and won't allow the drinker to get too cold, and you can put any of our drinkers right on top of it.
I know, and you know what else we didn't bring in here that would have went with the heaters? Or those
The plugs.
mhm.
Well, if you'd have been on time for the pre-show conversation.
Can't help it, I was busy.
All right. Okay, here's another heater. This one's been around for as long as I've been in business and before. It's probably been around for 50 years. The sale of it has dropped a little bit, but the reason for that, it takes a light bulb in here, the old-fashioned light bulbs that no longer available, I'm told. But then I found out from the manufacturer, from the hardware store that I go to, Rick told me, he's well, the bulbs are available because they're still being made in Mexico. And some American people or stores and so forth are bringing them in. Then I talked to another customer who uses this, and he says, all you have to do, go to Home Depot, any hardware store, they sell bulbs that are sort of like for a chandelier.
Oh yeah.
The flames, the size. 40, he uses 60 watt, but you can use 40. And it has a base in it. And you just screw the bulb in, and it's going to keep the water hot. Don't go to a 100 watt bulb, and he uses 60. I recommend 40. It's going to keep most of your drinkers from, except for the big 5 or 10 gallon ones, from freezing. Can I talk some more?
What would you put on that?
Yeah, anything.
I know, but how would the pigeons drink if it being that high up?
Damn, you got the greatest question. What you do is either make a square with a 2x4 or bricks and put them sort of around it. Oh, that one too. Wait a minute, we may not talk about that. I'm not sure. Well, but block, brick, wood. What I wanted to mention is, and then we can show that one. This has nothing to do with heat in the wintertime. But we sell various cages like we have the 4-level with 8 cages. We have the 2-level with 4 cages. And we sell other single cages. The biggest gripe I had, and we sell a lot of those units, the 8-bird unit, 8 compartment breeder units. The biggest problem is, in the center, you put your feed in water, okay? So that each side drinks from the same water and feeds. Well, that's okay, but they waste so much feed. They pick what they want, the rest goes into the bottom where there's a tray to catch their droppings and feed that they don't eat. I bet you they throw half of it away. So what I finally did, this is about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I got rid of those little plastic things that go in the middle. And I put one, no, not for the water, but for the feed I did. I put this in there and put the feed in here. Now they have to stick their head into this opening. It almost completely stopped wasting of feed. So that's what I put now, and you look out there, you'll see.
I've seen it out there, yeah.
Put them out there, and you can 2 or 3 birds at a time. Some of my units have 6 birds in them. They're great. Just pour the feed in there, and you'll do away with a lot of waste. It doesn't work so well if you have a lot of birds, 6, 8, this is fine. And thinking just now off the top of my head, why can't you we used to do this, right? What we used to do, they're still available to cut them? Okay. Is what you do is you get yourself a brand new razor blade and cut around to the handle all the way around, and that becomes a feeder. You fill it up with feed, put it in here, and lock it, and now it's going to be the same thing. You're going to have a lot.
You can't, once you cut it as a feeder, though, you can't go back to water.
No, thank you. Have we had people call about that? That was a good comment.
No, but I just...
You know what I'm doing is I'm trying to groom you
Oh, is that it?
to do the show by yourself.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Oh, we were going to talk about that other unit. Do we have room to do that?
Oh,
Why don't we unplug those? You can see I can still put my hand on them. They've been on for the whole show. They're hot or very warm. While she gets unplugged and is able to get out. Remember, I'm trying to find out if anybody can tell me what nationality this writing is.
oh, looky who we
Whoa,
have.
we got a surprise guest.
Wow.
Oh, well, this is a complete surprise.
Hi.
Hi, what is your name?
Keegan.
Keegan. What's your last name?
Keegan Hare.
Keegan Hare.
Look.
Do you know somebody here? Who do you know? You know me.
I know both of you.
You know both of us. So, am I your father?
No.
Am I your grandfather?
No.
No.
Am I your great-grandfather?
No.
What am I?
You're my papa.
I'm your grandpapa. This is my great-grandson. His name is Keegan. And right standing behind him, why don't you get over here a little bit closer? Get in, there you go. You look up on the screen.
Look, there you are.
There you are. And this is my great-granddaughter. Her name is Keegan.
No.
Kendall.
Oh, it's Kendall. Oh, now you're. Is your mommy watching? Did you tell her you'd be on TV?
No.
No. Oh well, she can go and find it.
Hey, we match. We both got ho-ho hats on.
Are you all excited about Christmas coming so
Yes.
soon?
Yeah.
Do you know what you're getting?
No.
No. Are you hoping for something?
Yes.
What are you hoping for?
An Xbox.
A what?
Xbox.
Ooh, I don't even know what that is. Is it a big box and somebody writes X on it? No. Okay.
You play video games.
And Kendall?
I want.
You didn't make a Santa Claus list?
No. No, she did not.
Well, I know that Keegan's going to get a big bag of coal. Yeah,
Once I
because
get
you've
the
been
coal,
sometimes,
I'm
you
gonna
haven't
throw
been
it.
so good
No,
sometimes.
Ryan. Yeah.
Well, all right, guys, I thank you very much for coming in.
Bye-bye.
Who is your grandmother? What's her name?
Grammy.
Grammy.
What's her name? Grammy? What's her first name?
Her first name?
Yeah.
Kim.
Kim. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, let me get this.
All right. I think I've now talked about everything that I can talk about.
Except for this.
All right. Oh, there you go. Want to read that?
Oh, yay! Face mask, ho ho ho, was claimed by Rick Smith. Congratulations, Rick.
We have one more giveaway, and you've got
We
2 or
sure
3
do.
minutes to claim it. All you have to do is dial 724-843-6889.
And
we got a Christmas present for you, and it is
pink and blue snap-ons, a breeding record cards, and a breeding record book.
free. We pay the shipping, so if you're interested, you got 2 or 3 minutes. Call Kim, 724-843-6889. What I wanted to show you folks about this is something we added in the last year. And we, I shouldn't say stole the idea, but Ron Simpson, a breeder who's known all over the country. He's whatever breed he decides to tackle, he becomes the equivalent of a master breeder and always ends up with some of the best pigeons in the United States, no matter what breed. I know he's had fantails. Well, I can't remember the other breeds, but he's had various breeds. I walked into his loft and saw this, and I thought it was a great idea. Number one, it has a flip top. If you want to use it as a feeder, you pour your feed in here. And then this doesn't come with it, it's ordered separately. There's a bowl here. And the bowl is removable. So if you want to use it as a drinker, you can. The can type heater goes right under here. So, I'll get it backwards. Oh, anyways, I'm wrong. This doesn't go in here. I was thinking I had the heater hole. it's for the drinker. So anyway, you put a feeder or a drinker here. If you decide to feed, you can fill it up with feed.
You can put
Okay, that's
the
what's
heater.
in my memory.
Yeah, I was like,
Now, pick it up a little bit, just this one. All you do is pick it up, put that under it, and you've got a heater. Okay, so it's called a feeder drinker platform. If you're interested, we do have them in stock. It's a nice unit, and you plug the heater in. One thing, you can put a metal pan, or you can, there are smaller, I don't have one here, feeders, drinkers that you can put in here too. But, and there's a hole in the back, and you can see where your cord would go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Somebody's calling to claim their mask. Here's the phone. We'll be talking to you. Our next show is when? January 1st.
We're not here.
So we're not here. Where are we going to be?
Off.
Off.
New
Well,
Year's Day.
Let's pick a day. When are we going to have our next show?
Would it be the following?
So this is our Christmas show. The next show, we're not going to have a show next Friday? No, because
we won't be here.
Right.
So it will be January 8th.
Oh, wait a minute. We're not going to have a show next Friday. Is that correct? That's because it's Christmas. And then we're not going to have a show the following Friday because it's New Year's. So we will be blank for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so we'll be back January.
Unless
8th.
I'll give you the key, Sherry, and you can come in here and do the show by yourself.
Oh, really?
Our director will just set up the camera and you just sit down and go to town.
All right, that sounds like fun. Maybe
Should they
I'll
wait
do
for
that.
you and say,
No.
all right. Okay. Well, once again, if you call within the next few minutes or you're the first one to call and are interested in our breeding record cards and breeding record book, and
Ho, ho, ho.
they're free. We pay the shipping.
724-843-6889.
Also, I might mention, because I do get a lot of calls at home, and I try to mention this every time we're on the air. I'm going to give you my home phone number. My only request is that if you're going to give me a buzz, call my house. You call between the hours of 9 and 5, and I'll answer the phone. If I'm not there, you don't have to call me back. I'll see a message, and I will call you back. Sometimes I call back in the evening. The reason I keep mentioning I'll call you back, and this is true. 2 weeks ago, a man started to call me on a Saturday. He called all day Saturday, and then he called me all day Sunday. I counted the calls. There were 32 calls. 32. No need. Call me once. I promise you, I will call you back. And as a last resort, if I don't answer the phone, call the girls, and if they know where I'm at, they'll let me know. So, but I want to help you out if you have a question, if you want to buy racing homers, if you want to buy rollers, if you want to buy white homers, we have them available. We're taking orders right now for 2021 young birds, so you can place an order. So if you have a question, I'll be glad to talk to you.
One thing. When you do call him, he does not have an answering machine, but he has a caller ID. So he'll see the number, and he will eventually call you back. Just because he doesn't have an answering machine doesn't mean that he's not getting your phone number. And we do get a lot of people that call and say
he doesn't answer.
that he doesn't answer. But he will see your number and he will call you back.
And please understand, and I don't want to make a big deal of this, we've talked about it before. It's my house. I might, like yesterday I was out blowing snow for a good period of time. Or I might have gone to store for a loaf of bread. It's my house, my home. You're more than welcome to call me, but give me the opportunity to call you back. Calling me a number of times doesn't help at all.
Okay, and I want to also congratulate Jerry. He won the breeding record card, and
I did?
yeah, Jerry Guston. Are you Jerry Guston?
No.
Well, then too bad. You look.
Oh, you said Jerry. You didn't say Dustin.
Well,
I'm just pointing it out.
Anyway, congratulations.
For his number, we thank you very much for listening. We thank you so much for the business that you've given us over the last 2 weeks. It's been amazing. So you folks, I appreciate your participating, as does, what's your name again? Santa Claus.
Santa Claus, Frosty. And I would like to wish everybody out there a very Merry Christmas and a nice New Year.